Usually when we talk about making a scientific observation, there's this expectation of total precision.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, like it's engineering. You break your arm, the X-ray machine hums, prints out an image with this jagged white line, and the doctor just points at it and says, there it is. That's the problem.
Right. It's a very comforting binary. I mean, we've basically built our entire modern scientific worldview around things we can visibly isolate, categorize, and measure.
Exactly. But then you step out of the hospital and, well, into the realm of modern astrophysics. You look up at the vast, seemingly empty expanse of the cosmos, and suddenly that X-ray machine doesn't work the same way at all.
No, it really doesn't.
We are looking at a diagnostic landscape of the universe that is, honestly, it's completely murky.
Yeah. Highly theoretical in a lot of places.
Right. We have these billion-dollar instruments capturing anomalies we just can't explain, data that completely breaks our models, and phenomena that just sit there defying the laws of physics.
It's frustrating for the standard model, for sure.
Totally. But we've got a report today that takes all of those modern scientific mysteries and offers a unified theory that, honestly, when I first read it, sounded completely insane.
It definitely challenges, the artificial boundaries we've drawn around human knowledge.
To put it mildly. So, welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are bringing you a journey that is going to fundamentally challenge how you, sitting right there, driving your car, or going for a walk while listening to this, how you view the night sky.
It's a big one today.
It really is. We are analyzing a document titled The Cosmic Architecture of the Galaxy and Pranic Gateways, and it's the final scientific edition.
Fascinating text.
Our mission today is to really explore this document's central claim, which is that ancient Vedic cosmology, so texts written thousands of years ago, and modern cutting-edge space science are actually describing the exact same physical reality.
Yes, they're just using vastly different vocabularies to do it.
Exactly.
And what's really fascinating here is the analytical perspective this demands of us. Like, whether you approach this as a student of mythology or an astronomy enthusiast who tracks NASA's daily data drops or just, an insanely curious learner, this report forces us to pause.
Yeah, it really makes you stop and think.
It demands that we look at massive anomalies in space things that modern astrophysicists currently brush off as random glitches or unresolved mysteries, not as accidents. It asks us to view them as deliberate physical evidence of a highly structured, living cosmic architecture.
Okay, let's unpack this, because the phrase living cosmic architecture immediately triggers my skepticism.
Sure, of course it does.
Right, because we are taught that space is a vacuum. It's cold, it's dead, it's just this mechanical collection of rocks, dust, and burning gas obeying the laws of gravity.
The textbook definition, yeah.
But this document argues for a galactic metabolism. It takes us straight to the center of our neighborhood, the Milky Way galaxy, and entirely redefines what is actually happening there.
Well, to understand the report's premise, we first need to quickly establish what the standard scientific model says about the Milky Way.
Okay, lay it out for us.
Currently, astrophysics views our galaxy as a massive flattened disk of rotating gas, dust, and, hundreds of billions of stars. And at the very center of this disk lies a supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A star.
Right, the big drain at the center.
Exactly. In this standard view, the galaxy is just a gravitational sink. Things fall in, things orbit. It is an incredibly complex machine, but ultimately it's a lifeless one.
Right, it's just a giant clockwork mechanism.
But the Vedic cosmological framework presented in this report upends that completely. It states that the Milky Way is not a dead collection of matter. It is a living, pulsating entity.
Wow, okay.
And like any living anatomy, it requires an energy source, like a heartbeat.
Okay, cosmic heartbeat.
Yeah. The text claims that at the very center of our galaxy, there is a continuous flow of primal energy, a supreme consciousness. In the ancient terminology, this specific foundational flow is called the Shivling.
Let me stop you right there, because I want to make sure you, the listener, and I are on the exact same page.
Sure.
When I hear the word Shivling, my mind immediately goes to the physical stone icons found in Hindu temples. I think of religion, I think of mythology. So, are we talking about a giant stone monument floating next to a black hole?
Not at all. And that is a really crucial distinction the report makes. The text is using the term Shivling to describe a literal, physical, hydrodynamic flow of cosmic energy.
Oh, interesting. So it's physics.
Exactly. It is the original, undifferentiated energy of the supreme consciousness entering the physical, measurable realm of the galaxy. It's basically fluid dynamics on a cosmic scale.
Okay, so we have this massive influx of raw, undifferentiated energy pouring into the center of the galaxy. What actually happens to it?
This is where the mechanics described in the text get highly specific. The report details an event called the cosmic split.
The cosmic split.
Yeah. Every galaxy, according to this architecture, operates with two main cosmic poles, a north and a south, magnetically speaking.
Just like the Earth has magnetic poles.
Right. But the galaxy has a massive, overarching magnetic geometry of its own.
So when this raw, primal, shivling energy enters the galactic core, it essentially slams into this massive magnetic field.
Yes. It encounters the immense magnetic and cosmic effects of these two poles. And the sheer force of this polarity causes that unified, singular stream of energy to fracture.
It actually splits apart.
It splits, and the moment it splits, the resulting streams don't just pool together, they're forced to travel in completely opposite directions, counter-rotating against one another.
Wow.
One flow is thrust upward toward the north cosmic pole, and the other is thrust downward toward the south.
And the text goes further, right? I remember it says this upward flowing stream continues its journey until it reaches a higher polar region, something called the Shishumar chakra.
That's right.
And there it undergoes a secondary division.
It does. In the Shishumar chakra, that upward stream fractures again, dividing into two highly specific, subtle elements that are foundational for the creation of the physical universe.
Okay, what are those elements?
Well, the first element is still referred to as Shivling. The text describes this as male-dominant in its energetic signature. It represents pure consciousness, the unseen foundation of life, and the hidden essence of nature.
And the second element it splits into is called Shivlingi, right? Which the text describes as female dominant.
Yes, exactly.
So while the first element is the hidden consciousness, Shivlingi is the manifester. It is the active kinetic force that actually builds the physical world, all tangible energy, and the 5 physical elements.
You've got it. That's the mechanism.
So visualizing this mechanism, think of the galaxy's entrance like a giant cosmic prism.
Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Right. A single pure beam of white light hits the primary prism of the galaxy's core magnets and shatters into 2 beams going up and down. Then, that upward beam hits a secondary refractive point, the Shishumar chakra, and shatters again into distinct colors, or in this case, male and female cosmic energies, consciousness and physical matter.
The prism analogy is highly functional here because it captures the geometry of differentiation perfectly. A singular unified source hits a structural barrier and separates into the multifaceted spectrum of reality we actually experience.
I mean, I understand the geometry, and as a philosophical concept, it's super elegant, but here is where I have a major problem with this premise.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Poetry and philosophy are not astrophysics. Mapping ancient spiritual metaphors onto galactic fluid dynamics feels like a massive leap.
It does feel that way, yes.
I mean, if there is a literal physical cosmic split happening at the center of the Milky Way, firing massive beams of energy in opposite directions, why haven't we seen it? Are we just finding shapes in the clouds to make the ancient texts sound scientific?
Well, if we didn't have the data from the year 2010, I would agree with your skepticism completely.
Okay, what changed in 2010?
This is exactly where the report anchors its entire argument. To answer your question about physical proof, we have to look at one of the most baffling discoveries in the history of modern astronomy.
Okay, I'm listening. What happened?
NASA was operating the Fermi Gamma Ray Space Telescope. And to give some crucial context here, gamma rays are the single most energetic form of light in the entire universe.
They're like super intense, right?
Oh, beyond intense. They pack billions of times more energy than the visible light we see with our eyes. You don't get gamma rays from a standard campfire. They are produced by the most violent, extreme phenomena in the cosmos, supernovas exploding, neutron stars colliding, and matter being shredded by black holes.
That sounds terrifying.
It is, because our Earth's atmosphere blocks gamma rays, thankfully, or we'd all be sterilized. We had to put a telescope into orbit just to see them.
So the Fermi telescope is up there, basically acting like a pair of high-energy X-ray goggles scanning the universe.
Exactly. And the team pointed the Fermi telescope at the center of our Milky Way galaxy. They were expecting to see a bright, messy cluster of gamma radiation from the supermassive black hole and the dense star clusters around it.
Right, the usual galactic center chaos.
But that's not what they found. They detected a structure that completely defied the standard model.
What was the structure? What did it look like?
They found 2 massive, Perfectly distinct, completely unexplained energy bubbles. And the scale of these things is almost impossible to comprehend.
Like, how big are we talking?
They extend out from the very center of the galaxy, perpendicular to the galactic plane. One bubble points straight up towards the cosmic north, and the other points straight down towards the south. From end to end, these two bubbles span 50,000 light years.
Wait, 50,000 light years? Just to ground that number for a second for you listening, light travels at 186,000 miles per second.
Yep.
If you could travel at that speed, it would take you 50,000 years to cross from the top of the northern bubble to the bottom of the southern bubble.
It's massive.
That structure is roughly half the width of the entire Milky Way itself.
Yes, they are colossal. They are now known in astrophysics as the Fermi bubbles. And modern science is still entirely divided on what they actually are.
Really? No consensus at all.
None. Theories range from a massive ancient burp from the central black hole millions of years ago to a sudden, violent burst of star formation. But there is no solid agreement. The geometry is too perfect, the energy is too sustained. Science simply asks, why are there two perfectly symmetrical, colossal flows of extreme energy shooting strictly upward and downward from the galactic core?
And the document we are reading just raises its hand and says, yeah, we wrote this down thousands of years ago.
Essentially, yes.
The report argues that the Fermi bubbles are not some random black hole indigestion. They are the physical, measurable manifestation of the Shivling energy splitting at the cosmic poles.
That's the core argument, yes.
The ancient text explicitly said the primal energy hits the center and divides into two opposite counter-rotating flows shooting up and down. We launch our most advanced gamma-ray telescope in 2010, and it literally takes a picture of exactly that.
It's striking, and it raises an important question about epistemology, like how we acquire knowledge. The ancient cultures who documented this obviously didn't have orbiting gamma-ray detectors. Yet, they accurately mapped a 50,000 light-year-wide structure of invisible energy. It heavily implies a method of observation or understanding of the universe that is fundamentally different from our technological approach, but it arrived at a verifiable physical truth anyway.
If you accept this correlation, it completely shifts your perspective.
It has to, doesn't it?
Yeah. The next time you are out away from the city lights, looking up at the hazy band of the Milky Way, you aren't just staring at a cold, dead machine grinding away in a vacuum. You are looking at the veins of a living system. Those Fermi bubbles are like the cosmic lungs taking a breath.
It connects the human observer to the galaxy in a way that standard astrophysics often fails to do. It makes the cosmos biological.
Okay, I am conceptualizing these massive 50,000 light-year energy bubbles at the center of the galaxy, but here's the logical gap for me.
Lay it on me.
Space is unimaginably vast. Earth is sitting in a quiet, dusty little suburb of the Milky Way, roughly 26,000 light-years away from that galactic center.
We're pretty far out there, yeah.
So a massive flow of primal energy way over there. How does that physically affect me over here? Let's trace the plumbing, so to speak, from the galactic core down to our local solar system.
That is the exact progression the report follows next. To map how this galactic energy interacts with our specific neighborhood, the text decodes an ancient chant known as the Gayatri Mantra.
Ah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, for context, this is one of the oldest, most revered Sanskrit mantras in existence.
Yeah.
Millions of people recite it daily as a spiritual invocation.
Right. It begins by invoking three distinct realms: Bu, Bhuva, and Swaha. Historically, we've always translated these in a purely spiritual context as Earth, the atmosphere, and heaven.
But the report strips away that purely spiritual interpretation. Instead, it applies a strict astronomical lens. It argues that the Triloka, these three realms, are specific, quantifiable zones of space that govern the physical mechanics of our solar system.
Okay, let's break down the architecture.
Sure. The first is Bhuloka. The report defines Bhuloka not just as the dirt under our feet, but as the total physical distance from the Earth to the Sun.
And that is a very specific, measurable distance in modern astronomy. It's called 1 astronomical unit, or 1 AU.
Exactly.
It's roughly 93 million miles.
Correct. The 1 AU radius is essentially our immediate gravitational front yard. It is the sphere of primary influence where the Earth interacts directly with the solar wind and the Sun's immediate magnetic field.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the critical mechanics happen when we step outside that 1 AU boundary and enter the second realm, Bhuvaloka.
The report defines Bhuvaloka as the massive galactic orbiting zone, also referred to as Pitraloka.
Right.
This is the larger spatial region that our entire solar system travels through as it moves around the galaxy.
And we have to be very precise about how we move through it. In standard diagrams, we often see the sun and planets moving in a flat, straight line.
Yeah, like a flat disk flying through space.
But in reality, the solar system moves through the galaxy with a distinct wobble. As we orbit the galactic center, the entire solar system oscillates up and down, crossing the flat disk, the galactic plane, like a horse on a carousel going up and down while it goes around in a circle.
Okay, so we are riding this massive cosmic carousel, dipping up and down through the galactic plane. Why does that specific motion matter?
Because it brings us right back to the Fermi bubbles we discussed in Section 1. Remember the two massive opposing flows of energy?
Yeah, the upward flow and the downward flow.
Right, the split Shivling energy shooting from the poles. When our solar system is oscillating up and down in the Bhuvaloka, it gets caught directly between these two immense counter-rotating forces.
Oh,
Yeah. As we dip down, we encounter the upward pushing energy. As we rise up, we hit the downward pushing energy. The solar system is basically caught in a cosmic vice grip.
man.
And the result of these two incredibly powerful opposite energies colliding in our exact orbital zone is a phenomenon the text calls cosmic friction.
And this is where I need you to clarify the physics because the report makes a staggering claim here.
It does.
It states that this cosmic friction isn't just a physical grinding of dust and gas. It actually affects the fabric of reality. It claims this friction accelerates time.
Yes.
I really need to push back here. Friction is physical rubbing. Time dilation is Einstein's theory of relativity. How does the text connect the physical rubbing of cosmic energies to time actually moving faster?
It's a profound synthesis of relativity and ancient philosophy, actually.
Yeah.
Einstein showed us that mass and gravity warp space-time. The report argues that this prana, this cosmic energy, operates as a hyperdense physical medium.
So it has physical weight to it.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah.
When the solar system plows through this intersecting field of upward and downward prana in the Bhuvaloka, the sheer density and turbulence of that medium creates an immense drag. It physically warps the local space-time fabric around our solar system.
Wow.
The intense energy density creates a temporal distortion.
So time literally behaves differently depending on where we are in that up and down carousel ride.
Exactly. And the text uses this physical time dilation to explain the concept of the yugas, the ages of time in Vedic philosophy.
Oh, right, the different epochs.
Yeah. Many ancient cultures believe time is cyclical, broken into ages. The text states we are currently in Kali Yuga, characterized as the darkest, most turbulent, and most materialistic age.
Sounds about right.
But what's fascinating is the mathematics behind it. In the divine cycle, Kali Yuga is drastically shorter than any other age. It lasts only 1,200 divine years, whereas previous ages lasted for many thousands of years.
So the report argues that Kali Yuga isn't short just because of some arbitrary mythic timeline. It's mathematically shorter because our solar system is currently grinding through the zone of maximum cosmic friction, causing our local experience of time to physically compress and speed up.
That is the argument. But the time dilation is only half the problem.
Oh, great, there's more.
Always. The report states that this immense friction doesn't just bend time. The physical stress is transferred directly to the celestial bodies themselves. And for the Earth, this leads to the most alarming mechanism in the entire document, the 12,000-year core reversal.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting and, well, more than a little terrifying.
Yeah, it's intense.
The text claims that as the solar system is squeezed by this up and down pranic friction, the stress builds up inside the planet. And eventually, it forces a catastrophic mechanical release. Earth's inner core is forced to stop and then reverse its rotation every 12,000 years.
It is a violently mechanical view of planetary dynamics.
But hold on. A planetary core reversing isn't a subtle, invisible shift.
Not at all.
We are talking about a sphere of solid iron, roughly the size of Pluto, spinning inside a massive ocean of liquid metal at the center of the Earth. If that entire solid iron core hits the brakes and starts spinning backward, we wouldn't just get a strange magnetic reading.
No, the effects would be surface level.
The sheer torque would transfer to the mantle. The entire crust of the Earth would shatter. Volcanoes, massive tectonic shifts, global tsunamis. If this happens every 12,000 years, where is the hard, undeniable evidence in the geological record right now?
You are absolutely right to demand the geological receipts. A massive mechanical reversal would leave a profound scar on the planet. And this is exactly where the report introduces its most compelling modern scientific correlations, pulling from very recent data.
Okay, lay it out.
Let's look at the core right now. In 2023 and 2024, multiple major seismological studies analyzing the way seismic waves from repeating earthquakes travel through the center of the Earth confirm something completely unprecedented.
What did they find?
Earth's inner core has significantly slowed down.
Wait, seismologists have actually confirmed this?
Yes. The data shows that relative to the rotation of the Earth's surface and mantle, the solid inner core has essentially paused and is now beginning to move in a reverse direction.
That is wild.
It is a massive topic of debate in geophysics right now. Modern science observes this deceleration through the seismic data, but they lack a definitive trigger. They don't know why the dynamo inside the Earth is suddenly shifting its momentum.
But the ancient text provides the trigger, the 12,000-year cycle of cosmic friction in the Bhuvaloka.
Exactly. But we have to look backward to prove the cycle. If this is a 12,000-year cycle, what happened 12,000 years ago?
Right.
The report points directly to ice core data drilled from Greenland and Antarctica. These ice cores trap ancient atmosphere and dust, giving us a year-by-year record of the Earth's climate.
Like tree rings, but ice.
Exactly. And the ice cores show an indisputable, incredibly violent climate event that occurred exactly 11,600 to 12,000 years ago. Geologists call it the Younger Dryas period.
Oh, I am familiar with the Younger Dryas. It was a massive, sudden deep freeze, wasn't it?
It was a period of extreme, geologically instantaneous climate shock. The Earth was gradually warming up, thawing out of the last ice age, and then suddenly, temperatures plummeted back into deep freeze conditions globally.
It's out of nowhere.
Glaciers that had been melting suddenly advanced again. Then, just as violently, it warmed back up, resulting in catastrophic meltwater pulses. Sea levels rose hundreds of feet in an incredibly short amount of time. There is massive evidence of global flooding, widespread megafauna extinctions, and simultaneous volcanic eruptions.
It sounds exactly like the Mahapralaya, the Great Deluge, or global flood, that is recorded in almost every ancient culture's mythology.
Yes, exactly. And the report notes that the archaeological record aligns with this trauma too. This exact period, 12,000 years ago, aligns perfectly with the deliberate manual burial of the megalithic ruins of Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey.
Oh, right.
Göbekli Tepe is a massive stone complex built by people who possessed incredibly advanced astronomical knowledge. And for some reason, they painstakingly buried the entire site under tons of dirt and rubble, right around the time the Younger Dryas cataclysms were peaking.
Like they were trying to protect it.
Probably. And if you go back another 12,000 years to roughly 24,000 years ago, the ice core data shows another massive climate shock, matching the 24,000-year full cycle perfectly.
Let me just summarize this because the implications are staggering.
They really are.
The report is taking the deepest, most current mysteries of modern geology, the currently slowing inner iron core, and the unexplained catastrophic climate shock of the Younger Dryas, and it maps them flawlessly onto an ancient Vedic timeline of cosmic friction.
Flawlessly.
It paints a picture of a solar system under immense violent stress. But that raises a massive, glaring question for me.
What's that?
If our solar system is caught in this vice grip of cosmic friction, a force so powerful that it literally reaches inside our planet and physically reverses a solid iron core,
Yeah.
why hasn't the solar system been ripped apart?
Good question.
Right. How do the planets maintain their orbits? How are we even still here?
That is the logical next question. If the destabilizing forces are that destructive, there must be an equal, localized, stabilizing mechanism holding the architecture together.
And the report has an answer for that.
It does. It introduces us to the great cosmic anchor of our solar system.
Yeah.
The planet Jupiter, known in Vedic astronomy as Brihaspati.
Brihaspati. In the mythos, he is the guru of the gods, the bringer of wisdom.
Right.
But in this report, he is functioning as a literal, physical, gravitational, and pranic shock absorber.
Exactly. The report explains that Jupiter's role is to act as the ultimate stabilizer for the entire Bhuvaloka. It does this by drawing in and establishing the balancing prana, the harmonious life force energy that descends from the highest realm, Swahaloka, or heaven.
Okay, so it pulls in the good stuff to balance the bad stuff.
Basically. But Jupiter doesn't just absorb this energy passively. To manage the massive influx of chaotic friction from below and the stabilizing energy from above, Jupiter utilizes a highly specific engineered mechanism referred to as the three-pole system.
A three-pole system. Okay, let's break down the mechanics of this machinery.
It is described as a system of perfect dynamic equilibrium. Pole 1 is entirely dedicated to balancing the intense upward-flowing prana coming from the Sushumna chakra, so the primal energy pushing the solar system up.
Got it.
Pole 2 is dedicated to balancing the opposing downward-flowing prana that is pushing the solar system down.
Okay, and the third?
Pole 3 is the distributor. It acts as the intake and exhaust, taking the pure, balancing energy flowing from Swahaloka, mixing it and distributing it evenly throughout the entire solar system to keep the planetary orbits structurally sound.
I want to make sure you, the listener, can visualize this because trying to picture invisible energy poles on a gas giant is difficult.
Very true.
The text actually uses a brilliant rustic analogy that grounds the physics perfectly. It compares Jupiter's three-pole system to a Persian wheel or a Rahat system.
The Rahat is a fantastic mechanical metaphor.
For those who haven't seen one, imagine a giant, ancient wooden water wheel used for irrigation in agriculture.
Yeah.
It has a continuous loop of buckets attached to the rim. As the wheel turns, some buckets dip deep down into a chaotic, rushing, violent river. They scoop up that turbulent water, carry it upward, mix it, and then gently pour it out into a calm, controlled irrigation channel to feed the fragile crops.
That's a beautiful image.
The text is literally saying Jupiter is a giant cosmic water wheel. It is constantly scooping up these violent upward and downward pranic energies, perfectly mixing them with heavenly energy in its massive atmosphere, and gently irrigating the rest of the solar system with stability so that smaller planets like Earth don't just blow up.
It is a highly functional metaphor for incredibly complex fluid dynamics on a planetary scale.
Yeah.
But once again, as analytical thinkers, we have to ask, is this three-pole system just a lovely agricultural metaphor, or is there physical, verifiable evidence of a tripartite energetic system operating on Jupiter?
And I'm guessing the report has NASA data for this too.
It absolutely does. It points directly to the Juno mission.
Oh, the Juno probe. It's been orbiting Jupiter for years now, right?
Yes, Juno arrived at Jupiter in 2016, and it was packed with magnetometers and microwave radiometers designed to peer deep beneath the thick cloud tops of the planet. NASA wanted to map Jupiter's magnetic field and its deep atmospheric structure.
And what did they find?
What Juno discovered were profound anomalies that are completely unseen anywhere else in our solar system.
I mean, we all know about the Great Red Spot, the massive storm. What else did Juno find?
It found that Jupiter's magnetic field is lopsided and incredibly complex, with highly distinct polar regions. But fundamentally, Juno revealed that beneath the surface weather, Jupiter possesses three separate, incredibly deep, incredibly powerful atmospheric jet streams.
Wait, 3 of them?
3. These distinct kinetic flows seem to generate and control the planet's entire massive magnetic shield.
3 separate deep jet streams, operating exactly like 3 distinct poles of energetic movement within the planet's atmosphere.
Precisely. Now, modern science views this data and sees incredibly complex but standard fluid dynamics for a rapidly rotating gas giant. They see heat and gravity driving atmospheric bands.
Which makes sense from that paradigm.
Sure. But the report looks at the exact same data from Juno, these 3 distinct, stabilizing deep atmosphere flows, and argues that this triple jet stream is the literal physical machinery of the Persian wheel. It is the verifiable physical manifestation of Brihaspati, balancing the 3 cosmic forces to keep the Earth intact during the intense friction of the Bhuvaloka.
Man, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it changes everything about amateur astronomy.
It really does.
The next time you go outside on a clear night and you spot that bright, steady point of light that is Jupiter, you have to realize you aren't just seeing a massive ball of swirling hydrogen and helium gas.
No, you're not.
According to this ancient cosmic architecture, you are looking at the bodyguard of Earth. You are looking at the great churning engine of stability that keeps the iron core beneath your feet from spinning out of control every single day.
It frames the solar system, not as a random collection of rocks caught in a gravity well, but as an interconnected, necessary mechanism. Jupiter's immense mass and complex atmosphere aren't accidents. They are structural requirements for the survival of the inner planets.
So we have a relatively coherent picture now. We have the primal energy blasting from the galactic core. We have the destructive friction in our orbital zone causing time dilation and core reversals. And we have Jupiter acting as a massive water wheel, desperately trying to keep the peace.
Right.
But the report says the architecture isn't finished. There is another force at play. If Jupiter represents the forces of creation and stability, the universe demands balance. There is a darker current, a reverse current.
Yes. Up until now, we've been discussing the Veda path, the flow of creation, stability, and higher consciousness. But the report introduces us to its exact opposite, The Vipreet Veda,
The reverse path.
the reverse path. It is an anti-cosmic flow. If the primal energy from the core is about spiritual elevation, unity, and the expansion of consciousness, the Vipreet Veda is associated with materialism, ego, fragmentation, illusion, and negative frequencies.
Okay, so it's a downward pull.
It is the energetic friction that pulls consciousness downward, and the text assigns two specific celestial bodies as the anchors and governors of this reverse flow, Rahu and Venus.
Let's tackle Rahu first, because this is where the ancient mythology gets an incredible, almost sci-fi modern upgrade.
Oh, well, this card is fascinating.
In classical Vedic texts, Rahu is a terrifying figure. It is described as a demon, a severed head, an invisible shadow entity that swallows the sun and causes eclipses. It's basically an ancient symbol for the forces of darkness.
That's the mythological understanding, yes.
Now, according to the document we are analyzing, Rahu is not a mythic demon at all. It corresponds exactly to a very real, very physical location in modern astrophysics known as the L2 Lagrange point.
The L2 point, the convergence of ancient myth and orbital mechanics here is just incredible. Let's explain what a Lagrange point is for you listening, just so the physics are clear.
Yeah, please do.
In any orbital system with two large bodies, like the massive sun and the smaller Earth, gravity is constantly pulling inward, and the centrifugal force of orbiting is constantly pushing outward.
Right.
A Lagrange point is a specific mathematical location in space where the gravitational pull of the two large bodies perfectly cancels out the centrifugal force of a smaller object placed there.
Like a sweet spot.
Exactly. It's essentially a gravitational parking spot where an object can hover stably. There are 5 of these points, L1 through L5.
And where exactly is L2 located in relation to us?
L2 is located about 1 million miles directly behind the Earth as viewed from the Sun. As the Earth races along its orbit around the Sun, the L2 point orbits right along with it, perfectly synchronized, always staying exactly behind the Earth. And because of this geometry, L2 is permanently hidden in the deep freezing shadow of our planet. It is a literal, permanent shadow portal trailing behind us in the dark of space.
Okay, a permanent shadow portal trailing the Earth perfectly matches the ancient description of Rahu as a shadow entity. But I have to challenge the premise again here.
Go for it.
L2 is just a mathematical equation. It is a gravity dead zone. How does a mathematical parking spot emit anti-cosmic, ego-driven, negative energy?
It's a really great question about the mechanics of a void. Because L2 is a stable gravitational pocket, it acts like an eddy in a river. Over millions of years, it naturally accumulates cosmic dust, micrometeorites, and debris.
So it gathers junk.
Right. The report suggests that just as it accumulates physical debris, its unique gravitational and shielded nature allows it to act as an accumulation point for the negative descending frequencies of the Vipreet Veda. It is a focal point for the shadow energy.
And the irony here regarding modern science is almost too perfect to write.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
Where did humanity, in all its modern, technological, materialistic wisdom, decide to place its most advanced, most expensive eye into the cosmos? The James Webb Space Telescope.
We parked it exactly at L2.
Right. We placed our greatest instrument of observation, a $10 billion marvel of modern engineering, right inside the ancient portal of shadow, illusion, and materialism.
It's highly poetic.
Yeah.
But while Rahu is an invisible mathematical point in space accumulating shadow, the second body governing this anti-cosmic flow is very, very tangible. It's the planet Venus, known in the text as Shukra.
Yes. In the Vedic framework, while Jupiter Brihaspati is the guru of the Devas, spreading wisdom, balance, and stability, Venus Shukra is the guru of the Asuras, or the demons.
That's the dynamic, yeah.
Venus's role in this cosmic architecture is to serve as the physical anchor that injects the reverse Veda, the materialistic anti-cosmic energy, directly into the solar system.
Exactly.
Again, I have to jump in with a reality check. Rahu being in a shadow point makes sense conceptually as a portal for negative frequency. But Venus is a massive, highly visible physical planet.
Very physical.
It's a ball of rock covered in sulfuric acid clouds. How exactly does an invisible anti-cosmic energy physically manifest on a giant ball of rock? How can a rock be anti-cosmic?
That is exactly the kind of materialist objection the report anticipates. And to answer it, it points to one of the most glaring, bizarre physical anomalies in our entire solar system. The report reveals the ancient explanation for Venus's retrograde rotation.
Let's lay out the planetary physics for the listener so they get how weird this is.
Yeah, please.
When a solar system forms, it starts as a massive spinning cloud of gas and dust. As gravity pulls it together to form the sun and the planets, the conservation of angular momentum dictates that everything keeps spinning in the same direction.
It's just basic physics.
Right, almost every single planet in our solar system, including Earth, spins on its axis in a counterclockwise direction, west to east. That's why the sun rises in the east.
That is the standard foundational rule of planetary physics. But Venus breaks the rule completely.
Yeah.
Venus spins clockwise, east to west. It has a retrograde rotation. If you were standing on the surface of Venus, assuming you weren't instantly crushed by the atmospheric pressure and dissolved by the acid rain, you would watch the sun rise in the west and slowly set in the east.
And it spins incredibly slowly, right? Like mind-bogglingly slowly.
Unimaginably slowly.
Mm.
It spins so slowly on its axis that a single day on Venus, one full rotation, actually takes longer than its entire year, which is its orbit around the sun.
So basically, a Monday on Venus literally feels like a year.
Pretty much.
I think we've all had work days like that. But seriously, it's a planet spinning backward, slower than it orbits. What does modern astrophysics say about this? How does the standard model explain a planet breaking the fundamental law of angular momentum?
Modern science has theories, but no definitive proven answer. The leading hypothesis is that billions of years ago, early in the solar system's formation, a planet-sized object smashed into Venus.
A giant collision.
Yeah. The impact was supposedly so perfectly angled and so violent that it literally knocked the planet upside down, or hit it hard enough to stop its original spin and slowly started turning the other way.
That sounds like a stretch.
It's just a mathematical model. It remains a massive, unresolved mystery.
And how does our report solve this mystery? How does it connect retrograde rotation to the Viprit Veda?
The report claims that Venus spins backward, not because of some random ancient asteroid collision, but because it is structurally located directly within the primary current of the reverse prana flow.
Oh, wow.
The immense continuous kinetic pressure of this anti-cosmic Viprit Veda energy is so strong and so diametrically opposed to the natural flow of the solar system that it physically forces the entire mass of the planet Venus to rotate backward against the fundamental laws of physics.
That's incredible.
Venus is physically manifesting the resistance of the anti-cosmic flow.
Wow, that is brilliant. It takes a purely physical anomaly, a backward spinning planet, and gives it a profound metaphysical architectural cause.
It really does.
It's saying Venus isn't an accident of a random collision. It's a monument to the opposing forces of the universe.
It creates a perfectly balanced duality in the sky. You have Jupiter spinning rapidly, churning its massive atmosphere, desperately trying to maintain order and harmony.
Right.
You have Venus spinning backward, acting as the dense, slow anchor for resistance, materialism, and the shadow. And you have Earth sitting right in the middle, feeling the gravitational and pranic pull of both.
Which brings us perfectly to the final and perhaps most important part of this deep dive. We've covered an immense amount of ground today.
We really have.
We've talked about galaxies splitting primal energy, the physics of gamma rays, planetary cores reversing every 12,000 years, gas giants acting as cosmic water wheels, and planets spinning backward against the laws of physics.
That's a lot to take in.
It is. But the report asks a crucial grounding question. So what does this all mean for you? For the person listening to this, walking around on Earth, dealing with traffic, paying taxes, and just trying to figure out their life.
This is where the macrocosm directly meets the microcosm. The report explains that as all these immense cosmic and anti-cosmic energies pass by and through our planet, they interact with the Earth's own magnetic field.
Okay, what does that interaction do?
This interaction generates three distinct invisible portals or gateways in the immediate space surrounding Earth. These gateways are not just astronomical curiosities. They dictate the dominant frequencies that affect human consciousness and the ultimate journey of the human soul.
The three Earth portals, or dwars. Let's walk through them. The first is the Surya Dwar, or the Sun Portal, also known as the Deva Path.
The Surya Dwar is described as the upward connection. It is the specific energetic frequency that connects our earthly realm back up to the higher vibrations of Bhuva and Swahaloka, the realms of cosmic stability and divine energy managed by Jupiter.
Okay.
According to the text, this is the path for righteous souls.
Let's define righteous here, because it's a loaded word. The text talks about living a life of dharma. What does that actually mean in the context of this cosmic architecture?
In this framework, dharma isn't just about following moral rules. It's about structural alignment.
Structural alignment.
Yeah, it means living a life that is in harmony with the upward unifying flow of the universe. It involves seeking wisdom, practicing selflessness and resisting the pull of pure materialism.
Makes sense.
When a human consciousness operates at this frequency, it aligns perfectly with the Surya Dwar. Upon death, the soul naturally travels through this portal to the higher realms. It is the path of liberation from the intense friction of Earth.
Then we have the second portal, the Chandra Dwar, or the moon portal, known as the Pitru Path. This one feels deeply rooted in the physical, biological reality of life on Earth.
It is entirely rooted in that. The Chandra Dwar is intricately connected to the constellations, the lunar cycles, and the Earth's physical rhythms.
Okay.
It governs biological life, ancestry, lineage, and physical continuation. It is the path of the material world. Souls that are deeply attached to their families, their earthly duties, and the cyclical nature of physical existence travel this path.
So it's not bad, just physical.
Exactly. It is not a path of liberation, nor is it damnation. It is simply the cycle of continuation, returning to the earth to continue the physical experience.
And then finally, we have the third portal, the Rahu Dwar, the Asura Path. And this connects right back to the L2 shadow point and Venus.
Exactly. The Rahu's War is geometrically and energetically tethered to the L2 Lagrange point and the Vipreet Veda, the reverse flow coming from the shadow.
The downward portal.
Yes. It operates on the frequency of pure materialism, ego, selfishness, physical lust, and intellectual confusion.
And the report emphasizes a highly critical, incredibly relevant detail about the Rahu Dwar regarding the specific time period we are living in right now.
Yes, it really brings it home. The text brings us back to the concept of Kali Yuga, our current 1,200-year age of intense cosmic friction and accelerated time.
Right.
It states that due to the specific, highly complex geometric alignment of the solar system during this period, the Rahu Dwar is physically brought closer to the Earth's energetic field than any other portal.
Wait, so the portal of Edo, materialism, and shadow is currently parked directly on top of our collective consciousness.
That is the claim. The report argues that this physical proximity of the Rahu Dwar is the unseen engine behind the state of the modern world.
That explains a lot.
It really does.
Yeah.
It is what fuels the mass confusion, the hypermaterialism, the rampant anxiety, and the inflated ego present in modern human intellect. The negative frequency of the L2 point is literally bleeding into our consciousness simply because of our temporary spatial proximity to it.
You know, I actually find that thought strangely comforting.
How so?
It's fascinating that the text frames human behavior things we normally categorize strictly as psychology, sociology, or even moral failing as an actual measurable symptom of our planet's temporary geometric alignment with an astrophysical shadow portal.
That totally reframes it, yeah.
It totally reframes how we view human history and our current struggles. It suggests that a lot of what we consider to be the dark side of human nature might just be a temporary environmental condition of the cosmos.
It's an incredibly compassionate view of humanity, in a strange way. It removes the purely moral failing from our daily struggle and places it within a larger cyclical cosmic weather system. We are sailing our planetary ship through a storm of negative prana.
Right.
It makes complete sense that the crew is getting anxious, greedy, and confused.
Okay, let's take a deep breath. We have journeyed from the very center of the Milky Way galaxy, through the freezing shadows of Lagrange points, all the way down into the synapses of the human brain.
It's a huge scale.
To summarize this incredible deep dive, the source material we've explored today presents a stunning, unified theory. It claims that ancient spiritual concepts, the Trailoka, the splitting of the Shivling energy, the shadow of Rahu, the backward flow of the Vipreet Veda, are not just campfire fairy tales.
Far from it.
They map with startling precision onto modern, verified scientific anomalies. The massive 50,000 light-year Fermi bubbles, the slowing and reversing of Earth's inner core, the 12,000-year catastrophic climate shocks in the ice core data, the triple jet streams stabilizing Jupiter, and the baffling retrograde rotation of Venus.
And as we always do here, we must impartially remind you, the listener, of our goal today. Our mission wasn't to declare this document as definitive scientific law or to tell modern astrophysicists to throw away their textbooks and buy a copy of the Vedas.
Right, keep your textbooks.
Keep them. The goal was to explore a truly fascinating synthesis of ideas. Knowledge is most valuable when we consider multiple perspectives. This document challenges the rigid, artificial boundaries we've drawn between ancient philosophy and modern physical sciences.
Absolutely.
It asks us to consider the possibility that the ancients were not simply making up myths, but were somehow reading the raw data of the universe through a completely different yet equally valid lens.
A lens that we are only just now beginning to grind for our own modern telescopes. Which leaves me with one final provocative thought for you to ponder long after you finish your commute or your walk today.
Leave them with something good.
If this ancient text could accurately describe the splitting of invisible galactic energy bubbles, the exact atmospheric fluid dynamics of Jupiter, and the terrifying 12,000-year mechanical reversal cycle of Earth's deep inner core, thousands of years before humanity ever invented the telescope, the satellite, or the seismograph. What else did they know about the mechanics of the universe that our billion-dollar modern instruments simply aren't advanced enough to see yet?
What a profound question to end on.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the cosmic architecture. Keep looking up and keep questioning what you see.